Okay, so
Okay.
let me introduce to the speaker from the other song, Dr. Shivyas has given lecture all across and is an avid reader. His skills is in photography and he's best known as a mentor for a lot of students. Those of you who have attended his lecture, you would know the simplicity and the confidence with which he teaches. So we have here Dr. Rishi Vyas giving us his insight about how to approach different kind of cases when it comes to fever. Now with this pandemic, you have been getting a lot of calls from patients with different kind of panic and fever. So let's understand how to understand this fever and different techniques which you can prescribe. Over to you, Dr. Rishi. Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pankaj. Uh, Thank you, other song, Dr. Shankaran, Dr. Meghna, and the entire team of this energy, giving us the opportunity to share my experience to everyone out there. I hope I am audible to everyone. This is a tough time everyone is going through, so we should take the best opportunity and get the best out of us. So, I'll be sharing some of my experiences in this last few years where I have been able to see cases of fever. So whenever it comes to fever, when I would share my experience, when it would come to fever, I remember in initial days, I would be very nervous, and still I get sometimes very nervous when I hear nowadays when someone has fever and cough. So why does it cause so much panic and anxiety to everyone when it comes to fever? So we need to just understand what is fever. Fever is a symptom, but it is one of the most important symptom. Reason is the body's mechanism is trying to fight out the infection or any disturbances which is happening. But this symptom is so important. The entire body is at its place to work, and there are many other associated myths which happen with fever, because of which not only the person who is suffering from fever, but the people around them also get panicked. So more than the fever, the people and around people, the scenario which is created creates more panic, and it becomes very difficult to approach. So the first thing which I would tell everyone is not to panic. You have to treat fever as how you approach any other symptoms which comes across to your clinic. This I have experienced and learned in a very hard way. My first fever case was a young child who was 1.5 years old, and he was brought to my clinic, not to my clinic, to my house when I had not started my practice also. And he was a very close relative. And I give this example every time. Since you are a doctor, they feel that you are able to treat everything. But we all know that we are still learning. I was just intern during that time. And this, my cousin brought her child who was just 1.5 years old, and he had a high grade fever, and he directly brought me to my home. And I had no idea how to approach. I was really doing all my efforts to tell her that you go to any pediatrician and take care of it. But she said that since you are a doctor and you know how to treat cases, why not you can treat my child? And since you are my relative, you are the best person. By my lot of persuasion and avoidance, I couldn't avoid it, and she landed up with me at my place. And then I had nothing but to face it. So, my dear friends, this will happen to you. You will be faced not now, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow with such conditions where you cannot escape fever. And this is into day to your practice. So that was the day when I was first time exposed to a fever of a child where I couldn't get any symptoms, but I was just seeing the child who was in front with 102 fever. And the entire trust of a relative on me that you have to do it. After 5 minutes getting into my own senses, I just tried to see what is happening, and I could get some few symptoms. The child was very irritable. He was not on the lap of the mother. He wanted to be on floor. He was just removing his shirts again and again. So I just inquisitively asked that why is he doing like this? What's happening? So the mother said that he's feeling lot of heat. He likes fan a lot, and he wants to be on a floor because the floor is very cold. And I observed there was a lot of redness on the face, and he was very irritable. The only medicine I knew at that time, which was very hot and which would the child wants cold everywhere, was sulfur. I gave him sulfur 200 and I just told him to go away. But the mother said the fever has not come down. How can I go? Let the fever come down. And my anxiety increased more and more. I was getting more anxious. The only thing I had is time. I had to be with time. So one minute was looking like an hour for me. It was not passing. By God's grace and by Hanuman, the fever came down to 1 degree and to 100, and I persuaded her to go. And I told that you call me in the evening and take a opinion of pediatrician. By the evening, the temperature came down, the cough also which he had came down, and next day, subsequently, the fever came again. I repeated the dose and came out. This was my first hand experience of a fever, and then after there were many such experiences which happened. So what did it taught to me? What was the approach I took? So today I will be sharing some few cases, and at the end I will try to share what has been my approach to most of the cases and what it has taught me in these last few years. How do I approach fevers? The potency was 200 and followed by 1 m. So don't worry about potency. We'll speak in detail about it. Okay. So I'll share you with this a small presentation. I'm trying to. I hope you are able to see the presentation. Okay. So these questions are always there. What to do in fever? What should be our approach? What should we look for? So I will be sharing some examples with you and trying to see what can we derive with this approach or with these small cases which I am sharing. These cases are not very big cases. They are very small cases which I see into day-to-day my practice. And I feel these are the stepping stones when the major breakthrough happens. These are stepping stones of the practice when we are faced to certain condition like pyrexia of unknown origin, like condition like acalculi cholecystitis, or fever due to underlying condition which pathology. Those conditions I am not going to speak. I'm going to speak with very simple cases which come into day-to-day practice. But they are very tough because I'll share you why they are tough. So my first case is a very simple case. It's a case of a female, 40 years, who is a chronic case suffering from vitiligo and hypothyroid. She called me suddenly in the afternoon saying that she has a fever 101 since morning, and it all started suddenly. There was no clue. She was all away. It happened last week. And seeing in the scenario right now we are, every fever is taken into suspicion. And she was also taken into suspicion why she's having. I asked, what happened? Were you exposed somewhere? Did you had any contact? She said, no, doctor. I'm there in my house locked down since last 3 weeks. No one has gone out. No one has come in. So I said, what is happening? She said, it is severe body pain. I can't move. The entire body and the joints are paining. My head is paining so much it will blast. I cannot bear it. I'm just lying down. There's pain all over my body. I'm feeling very cold. So I want covering. I'm taking entire covering on me. The slightest uncover causes the chills or the chilliness to come back. I said, tell a little bit more, whatever is happening. She said, I can't tell more. This is all. It has just started in the morning. So my dear friends, many times we will face with this scenario where the entire episode has not yet begun. It is the start of the episode. And during that time, there is neither the observation of a patient and neither you can observe what is happening, but you can only get what is happening now. So hear it properly, hear it precisely, there lies the crux. So I asked a little bit more. She says, body is paining, my joints are paining. The temperature is 101. From within, I am feeling lot of heat, but honestly, I feel lot of chilliness. I need to cover. There's little numbness in my hands and legs. Doctor, there's no cold, there's no cough, there's no throat pain, there's only fever. I said, what other changes have you observed? This is the question I always ask. What has been the change in you since fever? This is why I'm asking, because the deviation, the morbidity of the symptoms since this person has fallen sick is the most important aspect. It may be one or two symptoms, but it is very important. She says two things: I'm feeling very cold, body started to pain, there's lot of dryness in mouth, and I'm drinking lot of water. And doctor, I'm really troubled majorly with this pain. I cannot bear this pain. The pain, all my body, my joints are paining. So my friends, this is the history. This is not much history, but it says a lot about what is the condition we are facing. Now getting this data, right, we have to find a remedy. But before remedy, I always work with symptoms. What has been the symptoms in her? What is the suffering? What is the deviation in him, in her since morning? So the deviation is very important, right? Be it any acute, I'm speaking, be it any acute. What has been the deviation in the course, right? So the first thing I write is what are the symptoms. So symptoms start sudden. This was the first observation of mine. They start sudden. Now the second important is the fever. Fever, don't take fever just as a symptom. It is the most powerful symptom, I always tell. It brings about the entire bodily symptoms together. It touches the every part of your system and they start expressing. So with fever, what happens? Body pain, headache, internal heat and external chilliness. So this is the individuality of the fever. Though fever is common, I'll come to this idea of common and uncommon in characteristics. Though fever is common, but she feels heat inside and external chilliness. And this coldness want to cover and worse uncovering. Dryness of throat with increased thirst and with severely troubled with pain. This is a very simple case and I am probably anyone would have prescribed the remedy. It's not very necessary that always you open repertory and you prescribe. You always open materia medica. There have been times when you know remedy, you have been exposed to the remedy, you know the remedy. So the remedy which I prescribed was very simple, Rustox. And I gave him 200 every hourly 3 doses until unless she starts feeling better. So when you see, take the references for you, it affects the fibrous tissue, the joints, and feels as if sprained, right? Worse in wet, rainy, but she did not have such episode, but it all started again. Great thirst with dryness of tongue and mouth. This is what Ellen Skinote writes. And Bonningosen writes, in the fever, it is a compound fever, particularly with 2 episodes with inner heat and external coldness. This is the peculiarity of fever. So from common to uncommon, fever being common, but what is the pattern of the fever? It is a feeling of inside heat and external coldness with thirst, with body pain, with suddenness. When you make this, you get Restox. But if you only look at the body pain and thirst, you may have several remedies. So the second point which I wanted to share is you have to make a totality of fever. This will be the journey of the fever. I'll be speaking the same thing in next few cases more. So within 4 doses, 3 doses, her body pain reduced, her headache reduced, but before that the temperature broke. From 102, it went to 101 and 100. By evening, the temperature was 100, and by night, she did not have any temperature. The body pain had gone, but headache persisted. I told her that if the progress is continuous in your health, you are getting better, don't repeat. This is a rule of repetition. If you are progressively better, don't repeat it. So she said, I'm better. The next day morning, there was no fever, but she had headache, which was stationary, stagnant. I told her to take one dose and then she was fine. She was absolutely out of the entire episode. So what I want to share with this is what Hahnemann showed. So many times there may be not the full localization has happened, but you may get certain symptoms which are very peculiar, but they are all general in their nature. And that generality, if you are able to form the totality, you will be able to abort the process. That is the reason many times you give aconite or belladonna or such remedies, because the localization has not happened of that condition. So in this case, what I learned was that if you are able to understand the onset, the way it is presenting and its associated symptom, you are able to form a totality and you come to a remedy. Okay, let's go with another case. I'll be showing you a series of.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
Many of the participants are saying that they are not able to see the screen. Can you just check if that slide
Okay.
share option is open for all?
There's nothing I can do. They
Share
are not
screen
able to.
option?
They are not able to see the PPT.
Yes.
I had shared them. They can see.
Okay. Yes, yes. I think now they can see. Yes. Yes, please.
Can you see my participants? Can you see them? Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So this is the symptom which I had taken for the case. This is the reference which I was narrating. I hope I have spoken what have been written on the slides. Hope you are able to understand that. And then this is what I was narrating about Hahnemann. He wrote about in aconite. So let's take another case. It's a case of a boy who was 15 months old. Now you will be faced with various age groups, right? And this is a challenging situation when you have a child with fever, because you don't know, you cannot ask questions. You have to just observe, or you have to get from the observation of the person who has brought it, from the relatives. So this is already a patient with me, and he had an episode 10 days ago with cough and fever, and he also had wheezing. The medicine was prescribed, it went away, he was fine, but in a week's time, he again had a relapse of fever, which is not a good. I told to get an opinion, get investigated. Things were normal, but he had fever, which was high. It would read to 103. So doctor suggested that this could be a relapse of a viral. So just until unless there were any other symptoms very strong, just give him paracetamol, that is antipyretic, every 6 hourly. Now the situation was, even after giving antipyretic every 6 hourly, the fever was not touching the baseline. So this is something you will always get a challenge, that the fever doesn't touch the baseline, it remains 100. So let's see what happens to him, right? So he had mild coryza and throat on examination, which was red, and the chest was clear. There was no wheeze, no other rhonchi. One important information what the mother gave, that he has been vaccinated a month ago. But after vaccination, he was fine. He did not have any problem. But this was the information he has given. So we make a note of it and see, right? Now, again, we will approach the same way. What happens to the patient during fever? So I asked the same question to the mother. What are the changes you see in the child? So, so the mother said, when the fever rises, generally he is a very playful. We don't know whether he has fever.
Dr. Ashish, sorry once again to interrupt you, but majority of them are not able to see the screen. I think we
I
can do
don't know.
one thing. If you
Ah,
can just stop the screen share and again restart.
actually, I'm doing the same. Can you see?
Yeah, if you can try him.
Can you see them? Hello, can you see? You have to give me
Hello.
host right. You have to give me host right if it is. I don't know.
I think it's a mixed thing. Some of them have said yes, some of them have said no. So far, we have this issue.
I don't know. You can tell me. Are you able to see? Hello?
I think, oh, yes. I
Huh?
think this is fine enough. Yes,
This is fine?
yes.
Is this fine?
Okay, this is fine.
Okay, I'll do like
Yeah,
this. Okay, no
yes,
problem.
yes, please.
Okay, no problem. So, so the question which I ask in fever is what has been the change since fever? What have been the observation? So they say that we don't come to know until unless we have touched him. He is always playful, but when he gets the fever around 102, 103, he gets little dull and agitated and irritated, and we know that he is in trouble. The other thing we have also observed that since the fever, he has started to speak more. We constantly ask about his grandmother, his dad, or someone or something else, and he keeps on speaking. This is the other part we have observed. He doesn't have any fuss in eating, but he is very clear what he wants to eat. So if he asks that you would like to have sweet or spicy or roti or dal, he is very clear what he likes to want to have. So my friends here, there are few things we observe. I have put a red mark on it. These are the deviation we see in the fever, right? There are many times we may not get the clear picture or we may not get the clear symptoms. How to go about in such conditions? In such conditions, you also have to take the generals of the patient. What are the other generals or the general nature? That is the apyrexic condition. This is what Hahnemann has written in his aphorism 231 from onwards. That not only the pyrexia state, but also the apyrexia state defines the indication of a remedy. So when I say apyrexia means what? It means the underlying disposition mentally and physically should also be considered when you are treating it. Because many times you may not get the full blown picture of the fever. This has its benefit also. I'll come to this aspect. So I asked what is the nature. He says he's a very happy-go-lucky child. He doesn't trouble. He's on his own. He has an exploration habit. He will keep on finding out what he has to do, what he is not. He'll not sit in one place. He always wants to go out. Not much of irritated nature. He wants to be cuddled. The other thing is, since few days we have observed he's teething and he keeps on biting things, everything, whatever comes to him. Also, he is obsessed with abdomen. He will keep them uncovering again and again. Right now, also in fever, he will expose his abdomen or keep uncovering the part. There's little running nose. He doesn't like to take allopathy, so that is also one reason we want to give him homeopathy, and we don't want to go into allopathy. Thirst is good. He drinks a lot of water. He likes curd. He likes papad, which is a little spicy and salty thing. There's profuse perspiration on forehead and back and head. When he sleeps, there's a lot of perspiration. He feels a lot of heat. He wants fan. He sweats a lot. He likes to play in water, and it is very difficult for him we to remove him from water. He always needs fan. He has not passed stools since 2 days. So this is the information you have. So again, the first thing what we'll do is try to find out what are the symptoms. I categorize these two into two aspects. What it is? One is the aspect of during the fever, and what is the general, that is the apyrexia state of the condition. So in the during fever, he is very irritable only when this high rise temperature. Otherwise, he's very playful. There's redness of face, talks a lot. Query, his dentition and biting a lot, and query vaccination. So immediately after vaccine, there has not been an episode, but there may be a. I will not give the full attention to vaccine, but query to it. What are the other symptoms you see? Cheerfulness, exploring, very inquisitive, likes to play with water, uncovering the abdomen, perspiration on head, hair, and occiput, sensitive to heat, like salty and spicy and curd. So you have to take both symptoms together, the pyrexia and the apyrexia, that is the specific fever totality and also the general disposition during that time, because we are not very clear with it. There are two benefits of this when we do such totality. Many times you get a remedy in this condition for the patient when the previous remedy has not well acted or has not done good to the patient. And this was the thing happened with this. So when you take this dentition, redness, fever, loquacity, that is the deviation during the fever, you get group of remedies like chamomilla, ferrum phos, lacasis, rostock, sulfur, hiparsal, bryonia, stramonium, hyoscyamus, and coffea. There's a lot of big group. It is good to have this group. Now out of this, I want a remedy who is cheerful, who is inquisitive in nature, who is very sensitive to heat and has a lot of perspiration on back and likes to play in water a lot and very like salty and spicy. So I add to this totality and I get sulfur. I give one sulfur as one dose in water. So I always give remedies in aqua dilution to avoid aggravation. This is the thumb rule I always follow. Okay. After giving the dose, the episode broke down. He started to feel better. The temperature did not come. It is more than 24 hours. The temperature did not happen. The cough got better. He started to eat and the fever episode broke. Honestly, this was a blessing in disguise for me because henceforth, most of his acutes were managed with sulfur for a very good period of time, almost 4 to 5 years, till he started to speak and share what he was feeling. So I got a remedy in fever for him. This is a case. Okay, let's see another case. It's again an acute case which comes with fever, right? And she is a 30-year-old female, saw me in month of Jan, and she is a student. She started to have fever. It's 101 with running nose and throat pain, right? Throat pain. So there's some localization happen with throat pain swelling, particularly on the left side. Now your mind goes left side throat pain and fever. Why couldn't be it lac caninum? That's good thought process. You write it, no problem. Sleep late, right? Particularly she was not able to sleep and was feeling very tired. She's constantly drinking warm waters to make it feel better. So you get a modality here right now. In those last two cases, you did not have modality because localization did not happen so much. Here the localization has happened, so you'll have a mixed symptom expression, the local and the general. We will both take into consideration and move ahead. So drinking warm water, and she says that it is last few days I have come to Mumbai and have shifted. I'm adapting to this change of my place and time. My body is trying to adapt. It's becoming very difficult. Before coming here, I was in lot of stress. I need oxygen. Really, it is a very polluted place. From where I come, it's not so much. I need oxygen. This was her statement again and again. I don't know how to understand this, but I make a note of it. I want to attend the work. I don't want to lie down, but everybody is saying me to lie down and take rest. There's a strong need for fresh air, need to take oxygen. I remember as I landed in Mumbai, there was tickling in the throat and all types of different smells coming from all the places, very polluted air, and I was feeling difficult to breathe, and that was the start of my discomfort. I cannot do anything now. I have to lie down. There's no escape. So, how it started, what was the onset, and what was the progress, it's very important to understand. So what is the deviation right now? What was the state that brought her to become dis-ease at this moment? So now this is the situation now for her. Dreams. She says that I am organizing things. I am putting them into place. I always felt that I need to line up things. I was very restless before coming. So this state was already there before she entered into fever. So what is important here is the onset. How was the onset? So there was a specific state before she came into the fever. The fever was an expression, last end product of it. She says, before I started to come here, there were a lot of things going in my head. I had to pack up, I had to line up, I had to arrange every small bit because I was moving from one town to the other. I was so much organized. I was thinking a lot that I should not miss out on anything. And that was also coming in my dreams that I was very restless. As I had come here, I was thinking a lot. I was constantly keeping my mind over it. The other dream I had of robbers, and the feeling was fear that they will come and take things. So, this is the information you get. On examination, the tongue was yellow. She had axillary 101 fever, pulse was 100 plus, throat was redness, there was tenderness on the tonsillar area, and the respiration was clear. So, again, from this information, what are the symptoms you get? What is the totality you get? Right? Thirst not much, but she keeps drinking, appetite less. Altered state, she turns bitter, everything feels bitter. Perspiration not much, feels very cold and she needs covering. Throat affections, fever, more on left side, drinks warm water, sips it, chilly, draught of air affections, need for oxygen and fresh air, and bitter taste in mouth, fear of robbers, restless, constantly organizing, and too much work. Aggravation from polluted air, tickling in the throat. This is the affection. This is the totality. This is the totality of altered state. So in the fever, altered state totality with the underlying state which is going on. This was the approach to see it. Now the remedy is clear, simple. The remedy is arsenic alb given 200 twice in a day for 2 days, and next day morning the throat pain subsided, the fever subsided, and she was able to resume her work in 2 days. So throat pain, warm amelioration, thirst, fever during small quantity, rest cannot rest in a proper place, fear robbers, bitter taste, fever during, and open air desire. You may be always thinking that all these are very general symptoms. Why are you taking this? My dear friends, these common symptoms, when brought together, becomes characteristic and becomes uncommon. Think over it. Let's take another case. Now, as we are going one case by case, I am describing my approach towards this. The approach is very simple. You have to take the deviation, form the totality of the common symptoms, and you will get the uncommon characteristic totality. Now, when you are able to see these small cases, when you are able to find out or treat small cases, there are times when you will be faced to cases which are a little more complex in nature. They are a little more difficult in nature. And this was a case which happened to me, which was a case of acute infective hepatitis. So a 55-year-old male, he comes with fever on and off since 2 weeks. He had this fever on and off since 2 weeks. He had some fingers swollen, weakness and nausea. With lot of thoughts, he said, during fever. On examination, the fever was 100. With fever, he started to have loss of appetite. He was finding difficulty in passing urine. He was feeling more hot, extremely tired, and couldn't walk or sit or lie down. He said, my entire energy is depleted. I cannot do anything. There's nothing, no desire which I can do. So when I took this history that he had this fever since last 2 weeks, which was very on and off with loss of appetite and nausea, that it needed an investigations to do. So I told him that you need to get investigated first and then we'll see. So we got him investigated. He had few more symptoms like headache, sluggishness, rising of fever in the evening, burning in the abdomen, sweating, thirsty, dryness of mouth, filthy taste in the taste, nausea. And he tells that since last 3-4 weeks he has been constantly eating out. So eating out, fever since last 2 weeks, nausea and loss of appetite and abdominal complaints. When you look all this, it needs to be investigated for any typhoid-like symptoms or any other complaints. So when I told him to get it investigated and keep a chart of fever, his SGPT, SGOT were quite high. So if you see SGOT were almost 1800 and SGOT was 920 and his SGTT was 250 and alkaline phosphorus 125. So definitely it was an infective pathology and his all levels were quite high. So he met a gastroenterologist. He suggested that you need to put on some antibiotics and you need to take care. If you're getting more weaker and weaker, you need to get admitted. And this was the time where he said that he would like to start with homeopathy and continue with it. So I took re-totality of it and I told him to write his all the observations since last 24 hours, what is he facing. So he wrote a mail saying that I'm too tired and weak. I cannot think straight. And I specifically told him to speak about since fever, what has been the deviation. I'm emphasizing again and again the deviation of the fever during the fever and how the fever has started. So he said, my activities have gone zero. Emotionally, I get distraught and feeling utterly helpless. There is no one around me. I am all alone. My mouth is dry all the time and there's immense thirst all the day and night. Sometimes I feel cold, sometimes I feel hot. Evening, I start feeling very cold. Usually, the fever comes with chills, particularly in the evening, and the entire night I am in fever with lot of body pain. The pain is there in my head also. I don't get proper sleep. Sometimes I perspire, but it is not very fixed. I don't feel like eating anything. I have to force myself to eat. I'm eating lot of fruits. That is the only thing which I eat and drink lot of coconut water. So what are the generals affected? The appetite, how it has been affected, and what is likes and dislikes during the fever becomes very important. He has very metallic taste in mouth, otherwise complete tastelessness, passing deep yellow color urine from last 2 nights. This is of course because his levels are very high. He is suffering from jaundice. He is constipated. He feels extremely restless and cannot control his restlessness. The fever comes and goes. He says, when the fever increases, I get very, very crazy thoughts. I don't know what to do. There's no one I can speak to. If someone calls me, I get very angry and irritable. So I call him and just ask, what are the major symptoms apart from which you have already shared to me? He says, the fever particularly comes in evening. This is what I have always observed. And there's intense weakness, doctor. I cannot even get up. I cannot do anything. I feel so chilliness. There's a period of heat, feeling lot of hot. Then I have lot of sweat, particularly on head and the margins. There's tremendous thirst for water. So my friends, when I say all these symptoms like heat, fever, chills, weakness, restlessness, it is very flat kind of information. You will always want to look for something very interesting what a patient would say. like some very peculiar dream or some very peculiar fear, one very peculiar state which is very out of context, and that is the thing we always look for. But honestly speaking, these are very few cases. But the only cases which we hear always is the idea of fever, chills, and shivering and sweating, or weakness and restlessness. If we have the ability to find the totality in this common expression, I can assure you, you will be able to help your patient the best. Art is very difficult, but you can always adopt science. You can always adopt the simple strategies to form totality. I approached this case very again in the same way. So I took the fever as a center of the case and tried to see what has been the deviation around the fever, what has been the pattern around the fever. Let's see. So here are my symptoms back again. I'm here again back with symptoms. So what happens with fever? With fever, the chills happens. With fever, the headache starts. With fever is followed by heat and sweat. Don't you find this is peculiar? The expression of patient suffering. He may not give you very strong mind symptoms, definitely, but he will definitely give you the altered state. Evening rise, which is periodicity. Spike, which comes and goes suddenly. Thirst with dryness. Desire for fruit and juice. Intense restlessness and weakness to that he can't even get up from his bed. Urine burning and more. With fever, his mind state, he's completely sad, distraught, and helpless. No one is there around him to help, and he's all alone. Intense, restless, sadness, anxious. Worse with cold, with draft, chilliness, with altered state like metallic. And he would start it during sleep and he would get very irritable. Diagnosis, we all know it's an inflammatory condition, hepatitis. So we need to approach in a more, you have to give more frequent doses. It will not happen with one dose. You have to give more frequent doses. So diagnosis helps here like that. So when you take into totality, you have arsenic coming up again. But what are the rubrics I take? Chill evening, periodicity daily, chills periodical, taste metallical, headache, chills during, headache, fever during, succession of stages, chill followed by heat, heat followed by perspiration, thirst, fever during, thirst, chill during, dryness with thirst, sadness, fever during, alternating states of heat and chills, food, juice, desire for. Now, I did not only hold for arsenic here because there was something more than arsenic. The peculiarity of the desire for fruit gives you, or fruity juice gives you the idea of China. And the intense weakness and prostration that he can't get up also gives you idea of China and arsenic. So when you look and you limit your remedies to China and Ars, you have these all remedies coming up. Now, my dear friend, China Ars is not very well presented in the repertory. There are very few rubrics. So many times you will miss this remedy. There's not much information around that apart from periodical complaints or periodical neuralgias, right? So I gave him China Ars 1M. So when you see in Clark, it says that it has both components of arsenic and quinine, right? The periodicity is the most specific aspect of China Ars. Irritability, mood during the pains. With fever, particularly the anxiety, easily gets angered and refuses to answer. Anxiety with fever, anxiety worse with chills, desires things which he cares nothing or after he gets them. So he's basically very irritable and sad person. This is one of the indication of China Ars. China Ars doesn't want to be disturbed. He just wants to lie down like Bryonia, like Naxomica, but because of utter weakness and prostration. So China 6 hourly was given for 4 days and then followed by twice in a day, and then slowly stopping. When you see by Dr. Sarkar, he mentions that this remedy is majorly indicated for weakness plus periodicity plus arsenic-like symptoms with thirst. You can think of China Ars as a remedy. Clark writes in Arsenicum that it startles with fright and talking and quarrelsome in nature. So what I want to share is there are many small remedies which are in two components like natrum ars, ferrum ars, china ars, entim tart, entim ars. You may not get all the very peculiarity of that particular remedy because these are small remedies, but the component of each element is well expressed in the compound. Though there are also specific symptoms of that particular remedy also. If you read Kent, he mentions in natrum ars, in China ars, and many other compounds, he mentions that these remedies have to be considered with both the components and its quality and the specific quality of that remedy per se. So we gave China ars and the temperature broke in 2 days, the weakness went, he did not take any antibiotic, his weakness started to red back, his appetite came back, he had the thirst started to get better, headache gone completely. This is on 26th September, that is exactly 2 days after. But he still had the episode of chilliness and sweating. That is the reason we continued China Ars for him. He took a gastro opinion. He's diagnosed as hepatitis E, acute viral hepatitis. But since he was getting better, I told him to hold on to take any medicine. It is after a week, very little nausea, weakness improving, slight red blood in the urine, but apart from this, improving steadily. We kept him on placebo on a week after. We got his blood test done a week after. The reports came down. SGPT, SGOT started to fall 191, 625, and 151. After a week again, after 3 weeks, almost all the reports came normal, and the difference is mostly infective cases, infective hepatitis will have its own course of 4 weeks, and without medicine, if you are taking care, it will go. But the period is 4 to 6 weeks. With homeopathic medicines, if you are able to cut down this period of recovery, that is what you have achieved with homeopathy. This is the last case which I wanted to share is of malaria. How to approach to malaria, and the cases is of intermittent fever. And then I'll try to summarize in these last 5 cases what has been the way we have dealt with the fever cases. This is a man who was already under treatment. He came with a severe pain in the left shoulder, worse exertion. The fever started a day before with chilliness, and the temperature was 103.5 auxiliary at 5 p.m. Lot of chilliness, slightest part uncovering would cause her chills to bring. During that, he wanted sweet things, thirst for cold water, and he wanted to drink lot of water. He just wanted to lie down. He was very irritable, did not want to talk. He was already on given colocynth, so we repeated colocynth for him. But the fever took time and it subsided and did not come. So we felt the medicine is acting, but to the surprise, the fever came back again. And with now the fever with chills, now this was the time we started to observe him that if the remedy was correct, the fever shouldn't have come. But the fever came, and fever was in high in intensity as compared to previous. So what was it? It started suddenly with rigors, started with severe pain, and he was very panic. The temperature was 105. Imagine 105 fever, Thirst with chilliness, body ache with backache, pain in legs, better by massage and cold application. Intense headache with chilliness, with pain in the frontal, going to the occipital, better by cold application. So it is about 2 p.m. we are taking this information. Dorsal backache with feeling of sleepiness, but he cannot sleep due to backache. Sour irritations, burning in epigastric, feels to vomit. Temperature by 6:30 becomes 101.9. The tongue becomes slightly coated by 8:45, 101, and by that time he starts sweating. He says, "Don't ask too many questions. I would like to have ice creams." The headache is severe and the burning around the retrosternal is very intense. He feels to vomit out and the headache subsided by 11:30. My dear friends, why I am giving this time duration to you and telling this very small symptoms like vomiting or headache or cold, why I am saying this? Because when you are dealing with any malaria or any intermittent fever, the relationship with the time and symptoms plays a very important role. And this plays so important because if you are not taking into consideration the time and the symptoms, you will never able to take those symptoms which are there in fever chapter or in chills chapter, because those observation has been observed in your books. For example, chills coming in afternoon followed by headache followed by urination or followed by sweat. If you are inquiring it, if you are observing it, then only you will be able to take those symptoms and prescribe. That is the reason that time is important. When it happens, how it happens, and with what it happens. So I observed this because I was not able to find out what is the pattern here. So we gave placebo and halted for it. The next day, the fever did not come. On waking, there was slight heaviness, the appetite improved, but there was burning. Sleep was difficult and backache reduced. There was no temperature. Now, what do you see the pattern here now? Slowly, you are starting to increase the pattern. Now, you are ready because you are anticipating that tomorrow there will be a fever. Why? Because the pattern is every alternate day. The fever is coming every alternate day. That is the reason today is apyrexia. And tomorrow definitely there would be a fever. Now what to do? So you have to still observe that. And if you're able to find out a remedy, definitely give. If not, you have to observe. So we were not very clear here. We observed. So next day, with similar thing, the fifth day, the fever started to come early. It is 10:30, he started to have fever. 100.2, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 100.5. The other day, he started to have 105 by around 3 to 4. Now he's having fever by 105 by around 1:30. What does it mean? Now the fever subsided by evening, and by night 9 p.m. the entire episode went away. So these are the observations. Without you are asking, you are getting so much valid information. What to do with this? But just by simply taking periodicity, it will not help you. You will have to understand what is the pattern of the fever, which is common. In malaria, everyone will tell it is coming every alternate day. But you have to understand what is the peculiarity of this alternate day fever coming. The fever which came on the 2 o'clock lasted till 11 o'clock. And now the fever which has started in the morning 9 o'clock, it is staying in the evening 9 o'clock. So the fever is coming preponing. It is coming early. This is called as anticipatory fever. This is first. Second, it is every alternate day. So it is called as tertian fever. Now, when you have this pattern, you can definitely tell which sort of parasite you are dealing with. You are definitely dealing with either Vivex or Oval. So we got investigated and he came that he's suffering from Vivex, right? So what I do now with this entire complex which is there in front of me. So to make it more simpler, I put in front of me in the form of chart and see what has been the deviation and what has been the complex which has formed with the fever. So here it is. When I look here, this is the complex I see. So the fever starts at 1 o'clock, that is with chills. So if you see chills, chills is the red indication with chills. So everything starts with chills, the temperature, the thirst, the chills, and the headache. But not everything lasts long. As the chills decline, the heat still remains. The temperature does not decline. So chill is only for 2 hours, and rest it is heat. So the heat is not heat is more predominant than the chills. With chills, there is shivering. With chills, there is thirst for large quantity, and the thirst remains in heat and in the last, till the late last, that is till perspiration. And the temperature slowly declines, but the headache does not decline so much until he has vomited or he had ice cream or a cold drink. This is the totality of the fever you need to get. This is the entire totality you need to see in Materia Medica, or through repertory, or through whatever information you know, where you will find this complex of fever. This is common. To have chills and headaches is common in malaria, but to have a chill, particularly in afternoon, which is always preponing in nature, which is always alternating in its type, which comes with thirst, which comes with shivering, and the chill lasts for some time, but heat lasts for a very long time, which is ended in vomiting. This is very peculiar. This is not all remedies will have, though fever is common. So my friends, this journey what you're taking with each and every case is a journey of common to uncommon, from common to very characteristic fever. If you understand this much only, and you take this much as a taking away from this small sessions which you have been exposed, I believe you will be able to help a lot of your patients. So I take this and take the symptoms, right? This is the reference I take. Headache better by vomiting, headache better by cold application, thirst chill during, thirst heat during, head pain chill during, ice cream desire, chill tertian. There were many other rubrics during that time I took reference, and you get the remedy is Eupatorium perforatum. Eupatorium perforatum, he had thirst, right? Now you will always ask, the Eupatorium cannot drink water because he feels nausea. So chill with increased thirst, you will always think of Eupatorium and arsenic. Eupatorium 1M was given at 11 p.m. in night. My friends, 11 p.m. in night it was given. It was not given. And you definitely know why it was given, because Hahnemann has said that after the paroxysm goes away, that is the time you have to repeat. Otherwise, you will cause more harm to the patient rather than any doing good. Sixth day, no fever. Definitely, you know it is a no fever day, but his general started to feel better. His headache got better. That was the first indication you know that the seventh day, which is the fever day, the fever has to have a very less spike or a no spike. Then only you are on a right track in treating malaria. So seventh day, no complaints, no fever, and it lasted for a week. On 14th day, he had a mild fever with body ache. We repeated Eupatorium. And on 16th day, he again had small fever, which was very less. We gave 10M. And till then, after, there was no single episode whatsoever for months and months. This is the report chart. You get idea why. So on second we got it's Seizont P5X, Seizont and ring forms of P5X on 7th, and then it was not detected. So when you read Eupatorium, there's a very nice case which has been described exactly like what the patient said. It is by Williamson. He says that the chill commences at 9 a.m., lasts for 4 hours with great shivering and trembling, raging thirst before the chills, during the chills, and during heat. Vomiting of intestine bile with distressing pain and epigastric, distracting headache during heat, heat keysed about 8 p.m. and followed by inconsiderable perspiration. My friend, don't you think this is the exact symptom what patient said? We are always sometimes bound with the idea that Eupatorium will have only nausea and it will not have thirst, but it has thirst in all the stages. and then but he can't take it, but not only consider it as only the landmark of it. There may be some other things. When you take reference, you will find it. So, my friends, I'm just about to come to the session ending, but I would like to share what has been my approach to here. I have shared with each case what has been my approach, how I have dealt with the case, what has been my idea of looking at the case. But to make it highlight, fever and its around symptomatology plays very important role. That is the deviation. What are its mind state, thirst, appetite, pattern of fever, onset, and taste? This is my learning from all the fever cases which I have seen. A journey from common to uncommon. Taking common symptoms one by one, it makes it uncommon. This is what Bonninghausen said about location, sensation, modality, concomitant, change in pathology, and causation. We always forget that. He always told that common symptoms, if taken in its complete sense, will bring out you a complete totality, in fact, a remedy. So we are applying the same principles here, but we are not using Bonninghausen. BBCI we are not using, but we are using the principles what Bonninghausen has said. Another very important point what Bonninghausen gave was the idea of excessive symptoms, which is also been written by Dr. Hahnemann in the footnote 128 of Organon. He cites about the accessory symptoms which associate with the fever are more important to be considered for individualization. It is also said the more concomitant in a patient, the more is the prognosis better. The less the concomitant, the prognosis is bad. It means that if you don't get concomitants in a case, the prognosis is not good. Right? Deviation from the course, which always keep into attention and always follow the cause and course of sickness. The other things which Allen writes is we can focus on prodrome, what sort of prodrome is, how it starts, whether it starts with chill, thirst, headache. How is the onset? Is it sudden, slow, or gradually increase? Like in first case, it was all of sudden. What stage person has come? Has he come initially? Already the fever is there since long time, or he has come almost in a case where he has landed with pathology. How is the progress? Is it very fast progress or it is a very slow progress? What is the direction of chills? We have not got a case where we would describe the chills. What is the pattern of chills? Whether it comes from down to up to down, inter to out. What is the way? What is the pattern of fever? Is it intermittent, remittent, or continuous? Like, for example, it comes every alternate day, or it comes and goes, or it is status quo. What is the type of pathology you're dealing? Inflammatory, bacterial, virus, or psychogenic? This defines the potency, but we'll take it later. This is what I was mentioning. The accessory symptoms like the headache of peculiar kind, the taste in the mouth, the nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, want or the excess thirst, peculiar pains in body or limbs, disturbed sleep, delirium, alternation of temper and spasms, before, during and after the cold stage, during and after the heat stage, during and after the sweat stage, and countless varieties are very, very important. Hahnemann has mentioned so beautifully, there's nothing else he has said. This is exactly the Allen has taken from Organon and he has mentioned, and he has followed that in his entire book. So Allen says that you can analyze by time, prodrome, chill, sweat and heat, and also the apyrexia. The last part which I wanted to share is how when to dispense medicine. You can refer aphorism 236. It says that you never give a case when the temperature is rising. Never ever give. You always look, even if you have to prescribe a medicine, you look for flattening of the curve. Right now we are also looking for flattening of the curve with COVID. We also should look when the flattening of the temperature happens, like the status happens. If it's 102 for since 2 hours, that is the time you can dispense. Give best when it is declining, or give after the episode, or in the apyrexia zone. Always give in dilution. That will help you unnecessary aggravations. Many times you have observed that why my patients have been given me such symptoms, because you have to educate your patients. Many times I give them a WhatsApp message that please read through this information and try to observe your child or yourself. So you can also do, my dear friends, you can take a screenshot here, that I tell them that what has been the change in the fever, what has been the stress levels, what has been the cause for it. For example, what has been the change in the temperature, whether what has been the change in the body, emotional, physical, thirst, cold, perspiration, change in taste or smell or urination or defecation. So when I share this information to them, this really helps to gather the information from them. This is all what I wanted to share. There are many things, but what bringing these cases to you was, first, these are some of the cases are into day-to-day practice which comes as a viral. There are cases which are very pathological where you have to deal with it. But you can only deal with pathological cases when you deal with common symptoms. When you are dealing with common conditions every day into your practice, this will help you to manage those pathological cases which come later on in your practice. In the first case, we saw the keynote symptoms you prescribed. In second, you saw few symptoms in the fever, but you added the general and the constitutional remedy,
Dr.
constitutional
Rishi,
state. Yes.
if you can go through all those slides while you are just giving a summary, that would help, because now the screen is much clear to all participants.
Okay, sure.
All those cases back, just as in summary.
So in the first case, which is of the sudden fever rising, what you approached in the way it has been presented. It was a very sudden fever and with concomitant of high thirst and internal chilliness, feeling cold and pains. It was a keynote symptoms. I think anyone would have given this. So look with that. In second case, it was a relapse case of a child who was suffering from fever again and again. In this case, you did not have much symptoms of fever. It was not well expressed, but there were very few symptoms. For example, he was very excited. He was talking more in sleep, in fever. It was a dentition period. He was playful by nature, but you are not getting much symptoms during that time. So, what are the symptoms during apyrexia? How is he as a person? How is he in nature? Those combining with the presentation of totality, you came to the idea of a remedy. When you third case, it's the complete evolution you see here, right from the onset, the irritation of throat, from the state where it start, the patient was very restless, very anxious, the day when it started to come here, right? So you have the entire evolution in front of you of the altered state, throat infection, followed by fever, followed by weakness, very anxious, having a dream or a state where she wanted to do a lot of things but she couldn't do it. So this is the entire picture totality you find here, and you prescribe accordingly. In the fourth case, which is an acute infective hepatitis case which we saw, it was a case of the entire characterizing the entire fever episode very peculiarly. Here you are not looking at the constitutional. Why here? Because the picture is overcome by the acute episode so much that you don't find any underlying acute condition here, chronic condition here. So you take the entire acute here, and what you do is you try to see what has been the changes in fever. Like for example, you see here fever symptoms, fever with chills. You take the complete deviation and you form the complete totality, location, sensation, modality, and concomitant, and you get the remedy China's. And the same thing you apply in the last case of malaria, where the episode of the temperature and the observations the uh, about the how the fever is coming every alternate day, and with fever, what is the combination of the expression that forms a totality for you. So these 5 cases, I hope they will give you an idea how you can approach in various different cases when you will fail. So don't go with the name, or don't go with the uh, idea of what is the diagnosis. Just go with the idea of that how is the fever, what happens in fever, and what are the other symptoms associated with fever. I feel you will be able to help your patients very well with this. Um, I'm not sure we do have time for some questions, but I'll be happy. This is the reference you can read. Organon HCLN. There's an article by Dr. Kamlesh Mehta, my mentor, and I had written a thesis of fever and its homeopathic management. And all the cases were being seen by me and treated by me.
Yes, Dr. Rishi.
Yeah,
It was indeed a very informative session. And I know there were some kind of a technical glitches, but sometimes it's beyond our control, so we can't help it. But the way you explained was like very beautiful. I can just take few of the queries because we don't have enough time. If you can answer those. The first
yeah.
one was, how do you give aqua doses?
It's very simple. You can take aqua doses are given that you can take a bowl of water, 100 ml of water. If you're giving with water, you can put 1 or 2 drops, or you can put 4 pills in a water and stir it 10 times and give 1 teaspoon. That is called as first dilution. If you want to dilute it further, which can you can take another bowl, 2 bowls of same water, take 1 teaspoon from the first solution which you have made, and put in the another cup, stir it 10 times, and you can give 1 teaspoon. So many times in cases I have given 5th dilution, 6th dilution, 7th dilution, seeing the conditions. I am thinking what is the best repertory to use. The repertory is your tool. You can always, if the repertory which you feel which is very comfortable and you know very well about it, you can definitely use it. Most of the big repertories will have all the references from Boninghusen, Fartak, and Herring. So you can definitely stick to it, right?
Yeah,
How to
there
manage
was.
how to manage convulsions? Yeah, in such cases, definitely you don't take risk going beyond 102. You can give a paracetamol, and you can wait for the entire episode to come in front of you. You can then give your medicine.
Nice.
Yes.
And there was this last one which we can pick up. It says, when do you take into consideration the apyrexia phase and pyrexia phase, or do you see both together?
We see both together. We cannot see only one thing together. We have to think both. That is what Hahnemann said. You have to consider both together, pyrexia and apyrexia. And generally, these conditions will happen, particularly when see there are intermittent fevers, or the fevers which has this pyrexia and apyrexia state first, and second, in conditions where you are not getting any symptom in pyrexia, you are failing it, then you take the general constitutional state of the patient.
Great. So I think that sums up a complete analysis, techniques, and approach
Mm.
towards fever.
Mm.
Thank you so much for your time. And
Sure, sure.
participants, for some of you who were not able to see, we would just figure it out, and we would upload this video in future and update you. Stay tuned with us. We have many
I
more
would be,
such series
thank
coming
you.
up.
I would be very happy to hear your feedbacks. If you have any questions, be free to uh, send to our email, which has been shared with you. I would really like to hear from you, your difficulties, your learning, and your feedbacks. So thank you so much to be a very patient listener to me. And I hope you are able to help your patients.